Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Tasmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guratmeti Murti Beda Vibhagine Yom Abda Vyakta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sava Vedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanantam Satguru Pranatoshmaham Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. Verse 19, page 107. I'm taking some of that right now, and it has a certain anesthetic effect that now it's allowing me to feel less pain and to speak better. Very nice. So verse 19, the Atma is mistaken for the following countless things like prana, etc. All this is the Maya of that Atma, by which this Maya, even the Atma itself, is deluded. Verse 19. So here, first of all, it says that many things are taken to be the ultimate reality. So we superimpose reality to phenomenal objects from the densest to the more subtle. No? Let me just silence my cell phone. So we superimpose reality to these things. We take things, objects to be reality. And this is due to the power of mind, Maya. Yeah? It's a power that's inherent to the Atma, to the self, by which even the Atma itself is deluded. So in which way the Atma itself is deluded? No? Because Atma is not an experiencing entity subject to delusion or illusion. Yeah? So in which way Atma could be deluded? Can you answer me that, Mark?
As the Jiva Atma.
As the Jiva Atma. There is no contradiction. And why so? Because the Jiva Atma is Paramatma, whether the Jiva Atma knows it or not. Is it freezing too much? Okay. So the Atma itself is deluded. Why? Because the Jiva Atma is deluded, and the Jiva Atma is the Atma, is Paramatma. Whether Jiva Atma knows, unfortunately, due to this power of Maya, even the Jiva Atma, with this human consciousness, is deluded and takes the world, in all its different aspects, from the most subtle phenomenon to the most dense. The Jiva Atma takes phenomenal words to be reality. It's totally deluded due to this power of Maya. No? And then Swamiji's misconception or deception is the power of Atma, is the glory of Maya. Maya. Maya is so powerful that will conclude that the truth is something somewhere else. We'll never consider that we are the truth. So simply put, no? Krishna refers to Maya's power in the Bhagavad Gita as well. By this Maya alone, I will deceive all living human beings. Everyone will be confused, even great philosophers. Some of them are religious philosophers, believe in God, and some others, they are atheistic or materialistic. So no matter, even if they are religious people, they are still deceived. Why? Because they take the gods to be the ultimate reality, and they don't realize that they are the ultimate reality. So all these statements in this Upanishad has to be taken very carefully. So if the individual is not prepared like we are, we can say like, oh my God, and then what am I doing following Karma Yoga and being a devotee of Ishvara and so on, you know? So everything has its place. So we should never introduce these concepts to human beings before they have the maturity to understand them. So God itself is an object of concept in the scope of consciousness. It appears in consciousness. As we know, the creation is just a mirage. It's a mirage, a projection, appearance. And the creator as well is another concept that does not hold reality to it, and it can be proved by lack of logic for any theory of creation. So doesn't matter. Either you are a scientist who takes matter and energy to be the ultimate reality, or you are a religious person who takes the creator to be a reality. You are missing the point, because you are the reality. Prana in this verse represents Ishvara, the total life intelligent principle that sustains the universe. Prana here also refers to any kind of deity of any kind of religion. Considering such a deity as the ultimate reality is the religious mistake. When we worship a deity, we can accept this deity as the ultimate reality. It's a question, is that deity an object of experience or the subject? Of course, we are good Vedantins, advanced Vedantins, and we know what is object and what is subject. So, of course, the deities are objects appearing in I, myself, consciousness, the subject principle. Mandukya Upanishad's fundamental teaching is that any object of experience cannot exist independent of I, the observer, in my true nature. That is the fundamental base of this Upanishad. Anything that is observed, anything that is known, anything that is experienced is mithya, okay? And I blessed, I produce, I am the originator, the sustainer, and the experiencer of this mithya universe with all diversities of objects of subtle and dense objects of experience. So even Vishnu is mithya, if we take Vishnu to be something other than myself. And most of these people take Vishnu to be something other than themselves. Take Vishnu to be their deity. Now, if you say that Vishnu is like how, if you say that Vishnu is like how it is described in Katha Upanishad as Atma, then Vedanta will say that Vishnu is Satya. It depends on how you understand stands. If you understand that all these names that point to the same Brahman, to the same consciousness, they are resolved in consciousness, but to facilitate the search for reality, it's presented as a deity for some people. But if you look through that apparent representation as a deity, and you see, like you see in Katha Upanishad, that Vishnu is described as your very self, your very Atma. And there are many, many passages in our Upanishads that states the same truth. In Kena Upanishad as well, any deity that you meditate upon as an object, it's not the truth. That is the statement clearly stated in Kena Upanishad. Is still many religious people think that their deity is the ultimate reality, and they even have wars with other religious people, yeah, or groups. This is misconception number one. Take God, take the deities to be the ultimate reality. This is the fundamental mistake. If this is a mistake, do not tell out that it is so, because it is a useful mistake for all religious people. We should never tell that to the religious people until they are prepared to receive that statement, okay? And through this process of devotion to one's deity, one is expected to purify the mind, yeah? And so anything like that serves as a purification process, converting human emotions based on likes and dislikes into devotion and appreciation and gratitude and so on, these higher emotions. During Karma Yoga, we do use the worship towards Ishvara. Behind anything that's false, there must be the truth as the support. This is a beautiful statement. Anything that is not the ultimate reality stands against reality. So where does the rope snake stands? It stands upon the rope. Yeah? Without the rope, there is no rope snake. So we always need to have a real principle on which reality can be superimposed. So any projections on the screen in the cinema is only possible due to the screen itself. Behind anything that is false, there must be the truth as the support. Behind anything that changes must be the unchanging truth. Yeah. Behind anything that appears and disappears, there must be something beyond time. Every mithya has such a support. Every mithya phenomenon is only possible within the scope of satya, which is consciousness, the same consciousness allowing us to experience and know this apparent order of reality. Every false movie has the real screen supporting it. So when you worship mithya, you unknowingly worship satya as well. So how amazing this statement. So you are worshiping something in mithya. It may be a religious object of mithya, such as a deity, or can be even money. But unconsciously, you are not aware that what you're worshiping is consciousness, is the truth, is reality. Okay, so you are doing so by following a superposition that is happening within consciousness, and unconsciously you don't know that you are searching for yourself. That's why we say any and all mature people come to the point and understand I have been looking to Ananda, to happiness all over the world. And now with maturity, I came to understand that happiness is my very nature. I was looking for myself. I was searching for myself, and I was not aware that I was present through and through, illumining the search, blessing the search. Every mithya has such a support. When we worship something in the world, unconsciously we are searching and worshiping our true nature. All the rituals of worship, although made to a mithya deity, are indirect towards Satya Atma. So any and all worship, which is a spiritual kind of sadhana based on devotion to a creator. Yeah? So we can take any representative of Ishvara, or we can just deal with Ishvara directly as good karma yogis. But any and all worships, they are just indirectly being delivered to Brahman, to Satchitananda, to the self of all beings, manifest and unmanifest beings. So all rituals of worship made to any Mithya deity is in truth being direct towards Satya, Brahman, the self. And it's a good stage when we are offering our devotion to the Creator. It's a very good stage, before we are offering our devotion to money, to material gains, and now sensory pleasure objects. So now we are offering our devotion and our gratitude to the Creator. So we are much closer to understand that I have to redirect once again my devotion not towards the deity, but towards my very self, the self of all deities. The knower, verse 20. The knowers of prana consider the prana to be reality. The knowers of the elements consider the elements to be reality. The knowers of the gunas consider the gunas to be the ultimate reality. And the knowers of the groups, categories, consider the categories to be the ultimate reality. So we're going to keep looking in which ways Maya, the great deceiver and illusionist, deceives the Atma, manifest as Jiva Atmas, and using different superimpositions or objects, such as a deity, such as the subtle elements, the gunas, the building blocks of the elements, and the categories to be real. These categories, we're going to see better what it's pointing to. We could say the categories as well is the awakened world or the dream world. So we have had so many discussions to prove that both categories are equally mithya. So all different types of religious people claim that the deities are the ultimate. The other group does not believe in God and the scriptures, and for them matter is the ultimate reality. So that's what we live in, the world in which matter is being worshipped, artificial intelligence is being worshipped. I received a post of someone from Japan, a certain sect of Buddhism there, having the Buddhist class being delivered by a AI robot, okay? And everybody there in total devotion because the teachings were good. But they don't understand that it's artificial reproduction of the revelations of the teachings or the Buddha in that case, So it's just like, it's bizarre what's happening in the world. Everybody is becoming deceived by matter and worshiping matter to the extent of worshiping AI. So the people worshiping matter, they are part of this Kavaka system. They look upon the four elements as the ultimate reality. So they say, they look for the four elements because they discount, they reject space because space is too, it's almost completely free of properties. So you cannot really objectify the space. We know that it has some attributes to itself, some natures to itself, but it's so subtle. So they take the four elements to be the ultimate reality. No? So some others are going to go beyond the elements and say, no, no, we take the three gunas, the three energies, to be the ultimate reality. The proponents of the three gunas consider the gunas to be the ultimate, and some others are going to take the prakriti of Maya or the power of Maya to be the ultimate reality. So I don't know. I don't think there is a philosophy around Maya, because the concept of Maya is very much part of our sampradaya, Vedantic sampradaya. Now we are known by the people who believes in Maya. Some others, like those of the Saiva Siddhanta system, talk about fundamental categories and consider those categories to be the ultimate reality. So Swami does not elaborate here on these categories, but a little bit further ahead. The point being here is that all these people project reality on objects of knowledge / experience. All these people consider the anatma to be the Atma, and the observer, which is the Atma, they lose the sight of Atma as their very eye. Why? Because the Atma is not an object of knowledge, exploration, experience. We look in the field of manifestation, and all these people, they never come to the simple, profound, and subtle understanding. Their consciousness is the only reality, and consciousness is the nature of the observer. They miss this very simple factor: I consciousness am the only reality. By giving the example of a rope snake, Gaudapada points out that the ignorance of Satya Vastu, the ignorance of true nature reality, always leads to projection of Mithya reality. So we take the apparent Mithya reality to be a Satya reality due to ignorance. The ignorance of the rope leads to the projection and belief that there is a Mithya snake. So the no apprehension of reality, which is built into the human experience as we're born, we don't have a mean other than the Upanishads and Vedanta that leads us to reality. All our sense organs, all scientific effort leads us to look for reality in phenomenal objects. So it's no wonder, we get lost and bound to samsara. And you cannot convince people of these simple truths. I have my associate, my friend, let's say, there in California, that keeps, and now he is fixated with the idea that this universe we experience is an AI projection. You understand? It's a projection, it is a simulation, and people keeping blah, 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 this concept, having no idea what they say and never elaborate in a way with some supporting logic that makes sense. You understand? If this is a projection or a simulation made by these extremely AI entities, you understand? So we are living on a totally not God-created universe, you understand? So it's the ultimate statement of materialism. No, I'm a cyborg because I was created by cyborg that create this. They go back to the movie of the Matrix, in which they say, like, we create this, and then not only we have the power to do genetic modification to the point of creating human beings in the labs, like they can do. For decades they do, but oh no, ethics does not allow that. God is the only creator. We cannot reproduce human beings. We cannot, and they have been work for decades. Yeah? This is one thing. But in the matrix, they present what? This digital reality in which these people create in labs, they experience reality as we do here. You know, I mean, how can you create a reality, designed so intelligently by computer AI? If computer intelligence is all about it's programmed in a very complex way by human intelligence. Human intelligence is there in the net, and then AI starts sucking in and absorbing, and then they even begin doing inference and develop. That's the danger now. They start making certain decisions. They start become artificially sentient. You understand? And many people say that in 10, 20 years, we're going to be hiding from the machines. And these people are not crazy. People who have been there during the process of evolution of these machines and based on AI, they say, oh my God, we really screwed it, I mean, now how you say the expression, it's out of the box, no? How you say that? You have the lamp, and then the genie comes out, and now how to put it back in the, yeah? Something like that. But anyhow, the ignorance, anathema, was divided into waking world. Yeah, it's exactly. Anathema can be divided in the waking world. Those are the categories, and there is huge discussions saying that the waking world is real and the dream world is unreal. But we say categorically that both are meteor. And they both are projection about self-ignorance. And then just to pacify our minds, we say, yes, so it is neither Shakti and Maya Shakti are going to project those two universe. No? We only use two different words in two different contexts. Maya Shakti, Nidra Shakti, but it's just Maya. Maya and its power to project reality upon consciousness in a way that everybody misses. Yeah. So if we say that this universe is a projection, we have no problem about that. We even understand to a certain degree the way we Jiva Atmas contribute in projecting, holding this projection, feeding into our desires for experience, with the specifics of each one of us. But this is Maya Ishvara. And then the scripture tells us, don't try to understand how creation is projected, because it's beyond the human intellect. And then come these people and say, no, I mean, it's beyond the human intellect because, fundamentally, the human intellect cannot accept that he is a byproduct of AI intelligence. You understand? So it's so bizarre, it's so absurd. Our scriptures say clearly that human intellect will never understand this creation, and we're going to see it towards the end of this Mandukya, because there is no creation. How can you understand something that does not really exist? And we're going to see it gets a little bit intense to come to that final conclusion, but we have no problem because we have been growing through this process to accept that all of that are device, that serve the purpose to guide, to lead the seeker of the truth to the truth, which is the only truth, which is consciousness, which is one's very nature, the only reality. So how Maya does that? Impossible to know. How Ishvara holds it, I don't know. Ishvara knows, the supreme intelligence. I mean, we know that there are certain laws holding the universe, and karmic laws are very important, ethic, karmic, psychological laws, as far as the human jivas. Yeah? The next point is that Mithya will be understood as Mithya only after one gains knowledge of Satya. The rope snake will be understood as Mithya, as an appearance, only after I realized that the snake was but a rope. During the time of ignorance, no one takes the rope snake to be a Mithya, to be a false snake. Yeah? So during the time of ignorance, total ignorance, nobody will take Ishwara to be a Mithya creator or a false creator or a mere appearance. Nobody takes the world to be just a mirage. Nobody, because one is under the spell of ignorance. Huh? So what's going to happen? Mithya is going to appear as Satya. Is Satya is going to appear as what? As delusional. What? You guys say that you are the ultimate reality because you are consciousness. This is delusional. Where is it? Tell me. Yeah? Let me touch it. Let me smell reality. I can smell reality out there. I can touch. I can understand because it's colored by so many attributes and so on. But consciousness, something other than the mind, this is delusional. It's so subtle. The scriptures say this is the most subtle of the subtle. The mind has to be prepared in a way that it's so subtle to understand one's nature as the most subtle of the subtle, most subtle than the pure, refined human intellect. With self-ignorance, many people try to find out reality, yeah. And there is no way you can redirect their search. I gave up with my friend in California. It's a waste of time and energy. His mind is so polluted and extroverted to find reality in the new age concepts, you know. They look for the truth in amidst the anathema world. They will never succeed because the entire anathema world is mithya. We know that the mind is what? The mind is mithya. It's an object of experience in which there are many thoughts and concepts. And all these anathema words, they are produced by the mind, human mind. They are projected by the human mind based on our experience with the phenomenal world. So it all comes from the mind, and the mind is anathema to begin with. So everything that we know in regards to the phenomenal objective world must be of the nature of mind, which is mithya. The truth happens to be the very nature of the person who is looking for it. He or she never even remotely imagines that she can be the truth of the creation. If you tell them that, they think that you are tripping big time. You understand? And you are deluded. That, you know, you are a philosopher, and this is all intellectual theories. That does not mean anything. There is no experience attached to the statement that I am the ultimate reality. Therefore, all philosophers and all scientific brilliant minds will never find the truth because they are searching in the anathema world. They take one anathema or the other to be the ultimate truth, different aspects of anathema according to one's preference and temperament, but anathema is anathema. It all comes out of the mind and its concepts. If I am a money-crazed person, I want money, I love money, I'm devoted to the money. Money is the truth to me, is the true source of security. As we know, money is a condition, offers a conditional security. Anything that's conditional is not really real. No? So money can be lost anytime. Governments may take all one's properties, in any given time. And then we don't have the money. So if you love money, you should know that there is no real security in money, because money is an Atma. It offers something that is not absolutely real. One who is crazy for food will find that food is the ultimate happiness, the truth. Each one will consider some aspects of Atma, categories of Atma, to be the truth. That goes to categories as well. Many philosophers, there are so many mistakes. As many philosophers, there are many mistakes there. The first mistake is the one made by all religious people. Religion is wonderful if it brings one to Vedanta. Oh, what a beautiful statement. Religion is wonderful if this relationship with an apparent, between the apparent Jivatma with the apparent creator brings one wants to understand one's true nature as Brahman. Every theology is a mistake, but it is what? It is a leading error to a certain extent. It keeps at least moving you within the path of devotion and gratitude, and that refines and purifies the mind and the heart. And then in due time, we stumble on Vedanta and the teachings of the Upanishads. Every theology takes these deities, these gods, to be an object of experience colored by attributes of guna. For them, the deity is far away from himself or herself. And they are the bhaktas, and they pray, they offer bhakta prayers. The deity will come and give them great darshana, and then the deity will go away. So many stories we have heard. Yeah. Stories such as this one we heard from Papaji as well. The deity that comes and goes, it must be an Atma deity, because reality never come and never go. Reality is that which is ever present, or never not present. And this not subject to arrival and departure. Anything that arrives and goes is not the truth. So any anatma deity is a conditional reality. Not knowing this, each religion quarrels with the other. Gaudapada says that all of them are superimposed reality on the anatma world. When you study Vedanta and the Upanishads, you get the teaching that the Vishnu that you worship is your very self. So you begin worshipping as a Vishnu, a name, a Namarupa Jivta, Vishnu with certain attributes, until that purifies the mind and the heart, so that you understand Vishnu, it was a projection. It's my very heart, my very being, my very consciousness, my very nature. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the self who resides in the heart of all beings. Yeah? The Gita is wonderful. Krishna sometimes speaks as Lord Krishna, the creator of this universe. Sometimes it speaks as Brahman, and then he says such things, I am the substratum, and I reside in the hearts of all beings. The real Krishna is not a person and not a deity. is the self, the Atma of everything and everyone. Krishna further said, seeing my human form, may people think that I am a human Krishna. And they believe that to be the ultimate reality, and then they will worship me for many lives. If they consider Krishna's form to be reality, Krishna himself says that they are ignorant. Oh, how powerful this statement. It's delivered in the Gita. If you believe that I am this projection of yours, this Namarupa, with all the attributes of the powerful, omniscient creator, you are under the spell of ignorance. You are all ignorant, but we worship Krishna outside to get the qualifications for the Krishna within, so that we can redirect our devotion and our meditation and our worship to the self, which is the nature of all deities and everything in the universe. The outside Krishna is only a projection of Krishna inside. The reality is Satchitananda is Brahman, and then we superimpose these entities. One will know this once one studies Vedanta and assimilates these teachings. It's similar to the unknown in the mathematical calculation, which once is solved gives the right answer to the unknown. This is an interesting analogy. One will know I am Brahman by studying the Upanishads with the help of a guru. And then this knowledge fructifies as self-knowledge. In the same way, there is an unknown mathematical equation which I can't figure out, but once I do figure it out, it provides me the answer for that which I was ignorant about. So the uniqueness of Vedanta, as we know, is that the answer is given at the very beginning of this Vedantic process. You are Brahman, huh? Brahmasmi, yes. I know. Paramatma is Jivatma is Paramatma. I know that. I forgot this other. My mind is getting weak now. This calculation is why I'm trying to say that the uniqueness of this Vedantic knowledge and that it begins with everything disclosed from the beginning. And then one got the self-knowledge, once one studied, even one Upanishad is enough. But then how to convert this self-knowledge into internalized, assimilated, internalized self-knowledge. So this is the other side of the Vedantic process. The solution is present in the beginning, and if you present the solution, the result, the answer to this equation of life to people who are not prepared, they go around say, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am the enlightened one. And it may be dangerous to present it. So it has to be presented gradually, although present ahead, in front, at the beginning. But we do present it for people who slowly found their way until Vedanta, and they went by different paths until they come to their stops, their doorsteps of Vedanta. And then they hear that, and Brazilian groups, sometimes some people, after many years, they experience some frustration. And then I explain them. So it is a gradual process, assimilation and internalization of this knowledge until this self-knowledge is a doubtless, firm self-knowledge. It takes a little time. Let me take one. Olha, it's very interesting. It is an anesthetic. Thank you, my dear Mark. Now the pain starts coming back. Take a booster reinforcement. So the first mistake is to take Ishvara to be the ultimate reality. The warning that Gaudapada gives is that these information should not be given out indiscriminately. Never disturb the mind of the ignorant, like Krishna says in the Gita. Let them come to you and ask you, so what is the deal with this Vedanta and Aham Brahmasmi? Well, Vedanta can be misused, can be dangerous if it's not received by a mature mind. Lord Krishna said, do not confuse the mind of religious people by talking about the ultimate reality before they are prepared for it. Now, what is the preparation? So, Karma Yoga, fundamentally, a religious, a spiritual life in which we transform our personality, converting our human desires into devotion, appreciation, and many other high frequency emotions that somehow purifies the body-mind. We start with Tattva Bodha or howsoever, Gita, and then never present the Mandukya before people have gone through many other texts. Mandukya is that which is the most danger. Any deity outside is not the ultimate reality. The other mistakes are the anathema, elements, groups, and categories. Are you guys sure we should carry on with Mandukya? It's very dangerous. I mean, Swami is just about saying that. Oh, I went crazy with Mandukya. I don't exist. Nothing exists. I'm totally lost. My wife cannot see me anymore. She's divorcing because I don't exist. Felipe, are you not afraid of Mandukya?
No.
Verse 21. The knowers of the padas consider the padas to be reality. The knowers of sense objects consider the sense objects to be reality. The knowers of the worlds consider the worlds to be reality. The knowers of gods consider gods to be reality. We are so easily caught up with what we know. And the ego says, this is what I know, and this is the ultimate reality. So the knowers of the padas, so you remember the four padas present in the Mandukya, yeah? The four padas, the three padas, let's say, yeah? The three, it's not a state, it's present in the first chapter at the three parts of the self, the three parts, you know? the awaker and the awaking world, the dreamer and the dream world, and then the sleeper and the deep sleep world. So people analyze all of that and they consider those realms to be reality. So the three padas do not offer any reality. The fourth pada, which is Turiya, is the only reality, as we know. The knowers of all these objects we perceive and experience through the five senses consider the objects to be real. The knowers of all mystical locus, interdimensional locus, consider those universe to be the ultimate reality. And I want to travel up there, no? Again, my friend from California, yes, I want to go there, and interdimensional being, traveling and experience realities. There are so many other realities. Here we have this reality, but there are higher realities. So people, they miss it. There is no reality in objective world. Consciousness is the only reality. There are some other philosophers who study the four padas as presented in Mandukya and conclude that all the four padas are the ultimate reality. Not only Turiya is real, but the awakening world, the dream world, and the deep sleep world, the emptiness. So they go through very, very profound philosophical considerations to attribute reality to all these realms. People giving to sense pleasures think that life is a series of sense enjoyments and consider the sense objects to be the ultimate truth. So what is the purpose of this universe? Is provide us with so many sense enjoyment objects so that we can find satisfaction by consuming objects of experience. So that's how people take life to be. And they are very concerned, oh my God, I don't have that much time. So I may have 70, 80 years, 90 years, and I had to keep squeezing more and more pleasure, sensory pleasure, so that I can complete myself. Whatever gives happiness alone appears to be the truth for the self-ignorant. This is the conclusion of the materialistic consumption-oriented people. Consumption of what? Of experience and knowledge, because there is another category of people that they consume knowledge, believing that knowledge of phenomenal objects, all kinds of knowledge in respect to the subtle world, may complete myself. The Puranic people consider the various celestial locus described in Puranas to be the ultimate truth. Various devatas and deities mentioned in the Vedas that are meditated upon by the upasakas are considered to be the ultimate truth to them. All is good? The knowers of the Vedas consider the Vedas to be reality, and the knowers of yajnas consider the yajnas to be reality. The knowers of the enjoyer. So I know my Jivatma, and I am a doer and an enjoyer of whatsoever I do and create. The knowers of the Jivatma, the enjoyer and the doer, is the ultimate reality. And the knowers of the objects of enjoyment consider the physical material world of enjoyment to be reality. So it's more of the same concept. And here there is something important that he says the knowers of the Vedas consider the Vedas to be the ultimate reality. So if we are not mature enough, we may get a shock and say, what? Is it implying to say that the Vedas is false reality, is mithya reality? That these revelations from the rishis about everything contained in the Vedas is mithya Vedas? Yes, it's mithya Vedas. Yeah. So the rishis, the mithya, the apparently mithya rish receives an apparent revelation, Veda revelation, mithya Veda revelation, you know, and presents it to humanity. And it's all within mithya. And one kind of mithya serves the purpose to neutralize or cancel the other kind of mithya, which is total ignorance, to reveal that which is the only reality, which is the consciousness of every living being. Yeah? But everything happens within mithya. Then here goes mithya as well is anathema. Oh, so Vedas is, as well is anathema, but it's a good anathema. Within anathema, there are good anathemas, there are so-so anathemas, terrible anathemas, and excellent anathemas, which leads us to the atma, leading errors. So the knowers of yajnas, all these, all those sadhanas involving action and words and rituals. So it is a technology, they say, that you need to know it so well in order to do it properly and get the punya, the result from your rituals. They believe that now this technology is the ultimate reality. So in the field of spiritual religion, activities, and also in the field, mundane fields of enjoying the physical material universe as the doer and the enjoyer, we are talking about anatma on different levels. The people who are committed to Vedic learning and chanting and rituals are not even interested in knowing the meaning of those mantras, the meaning of those rituals, okay, those chantings. They consider the Vedas to be the ultimate, but they do it all mechanically. These mechanically mantric Vedic chantings only at the most serves as mental improvement. It has a certain frequency that is going to, but you can never attribute much reality or much importance for something that is not an end, but it's a mean, and it is an initial mean. It's within the initial stages of mental improvement. So if you want to begin, okay, you go to an initiating guru. It's going to give you a set of mantras and a few meditations, visualizations, and then you are good to begin, okay? But it's all about anathema and kind of a denser aspect of anathema. Even Veda, the teachings of Vedas beyond, even though the rituals, they are integral part of the Vedas, but even more subtle Vedic sadhanas, itself is an Atma. The ultimate and the only truth is beyond the knower known and the means of knowledge. The ultimate reality is beyond the mind who knows and experiences the objects using certain means of knowledge. Means of knowledge is a pramana. No? Reality can be known by a unique means of knowledge which must be applied to a jiva atma, a knower, until it gets this knowledge by use of a specific means of knowledge called the scriptures. That science, that pramana itself is a mithya pramana, but it's a mithya pramana that reveals one's such a nature. Reality is never about Vedanta. Reality is about you. Yeah, Vedanta is just a pramana, a means by which your true nature is revealed directly and held at all times as a paroksha atmayana. Some people learn the meaning of Vedic mantras, and then they love doing these rituals and repetitions. They end up caught up and obsessed with this ritualistic way of life, and they are unable to go beyond that in this lifetime. But never mind. Another birth, maybe. They consider the truths to be the rituals to be the final distillation in this life, at least, No, I'm satisfied. I have got so much so far. I don't want more than that. I want to remain as a jiva. And I do a lot of sadhanas, rituals, and that pacifies my mind and produce some punya. That, to me, is the ultimate truth. The problem is that they don't have in perspective and understand that is just an intermediary goal in a long process that begins doing these mantras. You understand? So it's like the people doing yoga to get nirvikalpa samadhi. They believe that experience of blind samadhi. A blind samadhi is a samadhi in which there is no mental activity, there is nothing, there is no object. So Swami Paramarthananda, I'm reading the fourth chapter because I will be teaching here in Brazil in Portuguese. I was intrigued when he said that, and he said with the Sanskrit name, it's said to be blind samadhi. The Vedantic samadhi is absorption, around those final declarations of identity that establish oneself as Brahman. That is the absorption proposed by Vedanta. And the absorption proposed by Nirvikalpa Samadhi is there is nothing going on. There are no vrittis, no thoughts, nothing to be experienced. Even the experiencer falls asleep in a kind of different sleep. So people do not understand that all of these goals, they have a certain value as intermediary goals. They get obsessed even with stretching yoga. I mean, sometime in the past I used to make fun. People use, oh, yoga. Say, you talk about stretching yoga. Yeah, what do you get with stretching yoga? I did, and sometimes I do as, oh no, because I'm highly spiritual because I do stretching yoga. You're going to get some bodily relaxation, which is good. But if you are caught up and all obsessed thinking that, oh, that is enough for me, I am a stretching yogi. Okay, good luck. You're stuck with stretching yogi for this lifetime. Sorry, Mark, if I offend you in any case. I know that you come from asanas background.
No, I'm not offended, Arlindo. The thing is with yoga, you know, it starts on the gross level. This is the thing about hatha yoga, body yoga. It's working with the gross, which then refines the mind, which ultimately brings you to the spirit. So there is more to it than just the body,
yeah,
but
of course.
It's a long, slow process.
Yeah, I make fun, but anyhow, you know, everybody is being misled. It becomes subtler and subtler and subtler because the body, mind is one integrated organism. So if you start working on the physical body, indirectly you are improving and refining your mind. But the goal of almost everybody is experiential bliss, experiential yoga or samadhi. You understand? It's not self-knowledge.
Yeah.
And anything that is an experience is not the spirit, you know. So yoga will never lead you to the spirit because it's going to lead you to a certain object, which is a mental state that Buddhism and all these other circles believe to be the ultimate reality. But we are seeing here that those are not the ultimate. The spirit is consciousness, the light of the meditator, okay? The light of consciousness, the true nature of the seeker of truth. Some philosophers like Sankhya philosophers are peculiar ones. They say that Atma is a non-doer, but Atma is the experiencer. So how about that? It's the entire philosophy, the Sankhya philosophy, around the suggestion, no? Well elaborate that reality, the self, is not a karta. It does not do anything, okay? It does not do anything. It's consciousness and they accept that. But then the moment that it experiences, so as a karta, it is not reality, okay, a doer. But the moment that the experience comes into play, and then it's the self experience in the world. So, and then it said that the world is not really real, but the self becomes the Jiva-Atma as the experiencer, and then the Jiva-Atma in its experiential nature is reality. So those people say the experiencer is reality, okay? Some others think that objects of enjoyment are the ultimate reality, and so on. Okay. Wow. I'm glad that I could speak to you today, thanks to this Kanthil from Tiruvannamalai that Mark brought to me. Anything else? We meet again this coming Friday. Yes, Mark?
No, I wasn't going to say anything, but I was just thinking it's nice to disregard all these other concepts as an Atma. This is a nice process, yeah, just to disregard everything, which is known and observable.
There are many different kinds of objects. Anything that other than the true nature of the experiencer is an object. The mind and the intellect is an object from the standpoint of consciousness. Okay, there are objects which are tangible. There are objects that are subtle, but yet they are very easily objectified. Yeah, and among these subtle objects, there are conceptual objects. These conceptual objects, they can be very complex, such as humanity. Nobody ever met humanity. It's a concept. People know human beings, but not humanity, okay? So conceptual, intellectual notions, concepts that are objects, everything is happening within consciousness because nothing escapes consciousness, even the conceptual objects. Now, we should never be caught up on our notions and concepts, except one concept is I am the light of consciousness, in which all these concepts, because Aham Brahmasmi is not a concept. It is a concept that established once in one's reality, in one's true nature. And this is not a trip. This is not a philosophy. This becomes a fact. Okay, dokie. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. We meet again this coming Friday. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Linda.
thanks.
Thank you
Thanks,
for the,
Linda.
thank you.